Hello, and welcome to Mindful Productivity for Busy Women: Balance, Focus, and Flow. I'm Marie Benjamin, a marriage and family therapy associate, certified professional life coach, certified yoga therapist, and experienced registered yoga teacher. I'm also a certified accountability coach, helping individuals bridge the gap between intention and action. My work is rooted in the belief that productivity and wellness go hand in hand, balancing structure with flow to create sustainable success. In addition to wellness coaching, I help businesses streamline processes and improve efficiency. But at the heart of everything I do is a focus on well-being and intentional living. I'm so excited you're here today. And if you've ever felt like you're constantly juggling responsibilities, struggling to focus, or just feeling burnt out, you're in the right place. In this session, we'll talk about how to shift from hustle mode into a state of mindful flow, where you can work with greater clarity, ease, and balance. You'll learn how to identify what's truly essential, eliminate distractions, and create simple yet powerful rituals to stay focused and centered. But before I dive in, let's just take a moment to arrive. I invite you to take a deep breath in and slowly exhale out. Another deep breath in and exhale out. One more time and exhale out. Remember, this is your time to reconnect with yourself and create space for a more intentional way of working. So let's jump right into it. We live in a culture that glorifies the hustle, constantly being busy, multitasking, and pushing ourselves to exhaustion. But the truth is, hustle mode often leads to burnout, mistakes, and feeling disconnected from our work and ourselves. Mindful flow, on the other hand, is about being fully present and engaged in what you're doing while also allowing for ease and alignment. It's working with your energy rather than against it. I want you to take a moment and think about your daily routine. What are the top 3 things that create the most stress in your day? Grab your journal or piece of paper and jot it down. I'll give you a minute. And if you feel inclined, go ahead and share it in the chat. Okay, I see people dropping some things in the chat. Okay, so the top thing here has seen that the trend is children, work, okay, politics. I'm right there with you. Okay, so there's a trend here. Okay. So now let's reflect on this. What would it look like if you approach these stressors with more ease and presence? Just take a just take a few deep breaths and allow yourself to imagine that shift. So just approaching these things grounded and not in a state of anxiety. Now we're going to try to embody that. But going over this chart, our hustle versus mindful flow, here are some examples of hustle mode and then how we can convert that to mindful flow. So constantly multitasking. Mindful flow is focusing on one task at a time. Then there's feeling overwhelmed and stressed. And mindful flow is working with clarity and ease. Another is prioritizing quantity over quality. And then there's prioritizing impact over busyness. Next is always reacting to urgent tasks. And next is setting intentional priorities. Skipping breaks and self-care, that's something we all do. And mindful flow is taking mindful breaks and resetting. Overcommitted and exhausted, balancing workload with energy levels. feeling disconnected from our work, feeling engaged and purposeful. Well, next we're going to move on to our Eisenhower matrix of prioritization. One of our biggest barriers to mindful productivity is being caught up in non-essential tasks. Not everything requires our immediate attention, and learning to differentiate between what's urgent and what's important is key. A key tool or a great tool for this is the Eisenhower matrix, which helps categorize tasks in four different quadrants. There is a quadrant for urgent and important, and the action is do that immediately. The next one is important but not urgent, which means that you can schedule these. Next is urgent but not important, and this you could delegate if you have someone who's available to delegate to. And last is neither urgent nor important. And at the end of the day, we don't have to take on everything that's brought before us. We can just eliminate that. Now, take a moment to think about your to-do list. Think about think about what we just talked about in the last slide. What are those things that are causing stressors for you? Take a moment to think about that. Are you spending too much time in this urgent, non-important category, or are these things actually urgent and important? Now, to give you more examples on what's urgent and important, these are tasks that require immediate action, have significant consequences if not completed, such as deadlines, emergencies, crises. And then important but not urgent are tasks that contribute to long-term success and growth, but do not require immediate action, such as planning, relationship building, skill development. Then there's urgent but not important, and those are tasks that demand attention but do not significantly contribute to long-term goals, such as some emails, some emails, some meetings, some interruptions. And then neither urgent nor important are tasks that do not add any value or much value and can be eliminated or minimized, such as excessive social media, um, doom scrolling on the TikTok, and just some unnecessary tasks. So, how can we shift more energy into the important but not urgent space? Think about that. Now, I want you to think about the list that you just had in your mind of things that are stressing you that you have to do. This is on your to-do list, and see what things you can shift to the urgent, the urgent but not important category, or important but not urgent space, or neither urgent nor important. If you feel inclined, share it in the chat. Hey, don't be shy. And I know that for us, especially if you're a mom, there are things that you're just like, no, this has to get done. And sometimes we can delegate, to our partners or family member, because remember that it takes a village. So there are things that maybe you do not have to do. And maybe you can get some help with that. There's nothing wrong with getting a little bit of help. Okay, I see one in the chat. Okay, so this one is related to work. So basically, okay, so basically, a young lady in chat just said that she has been helping to onboard a new employee at work, and because they haven't caught on, she has added their duties to her work list to get it done, because ultimately what that person does not do affects how she gets her work done. And that you want to move that to the urgent but not important. Honestly, I would probably move that to the neither urgent nor important, unless it is your job to onboard them and train them and it'll count against you if if this person isn't onboarded. If anything, I would put it in that category and then, escalate it to whoever's in charge of training that person and or leadership so that they can handle accordingly. There's no reason to, overfill your plate when, from what I understand, I kind of summarize what the young lady said, but from what I understand, the person isn't, trying to make big strides and to grow in this position, to be able to do this position appropriately. They're kind of aloof and allowing this young lady to take on the brunt of the role. And that's a bad that's a bad habit to, come into a new job with. So that's definitely a red flag. But thank you. Thank you for sharing that. I see someone else put in the chat, urgent but not important. Okay, yeah, that's good. So taking their son to get their hair cut, typically she would take her son because she likes, because she makes an appointment during the week and her husband's working, but she said that she will move it to the weekend so that her husband can take on the brunt of that, so that she's not rushing after work to try to get him to the barber shop before they close. That's fair. So this is your life, these are your tasks, these are the things that are going to affect you. So I'm not here to approve or disapprove of, what category you want to put it in, but I just want to give you the, you know, plant that seed that it's okay to move these things. It's okay to decide not to do these things, depending on what it is, because at the end of the day, you can't pour from an empty vessel. So another major productivity killer is distractions, whether it's constant notifications, social media, or an overflowing inbox. Distractions drain our mental energy. So let's do a quick audit. I want you to write down 3 distractions that you can reduce or eliminate this week. Go ahead, take your time. All right, I see it jumping into the chat already. Doom scrolling on TikTok. Hey, we're all, well, not all of us, but a good amount of us, I'm sure, are probably, are are probably partakers in this. Okay. Yeah, constant notifications. I mean, if you have an Apple device, they have the allow and scheduled notifications. So you can even change, like if you don't want to miss any notifications, especially from certain apps or emails or what have you, you can change it for each application and say, hey, just put it in my schedule summary at the end of the day. Or, if it's this and it has this contact, make this priority so that you don't miss what's important, but also you don't get distracted by what's not. All right. So moving on. Simple mindfulness practices to improve focus and clarity. So I have the 5-5-5 breathing technique, the 2-minute grounding meditation, and then mindful breaks, the 50-10 rule. So mindfulness isn't just about meditation. It's about bringing awareness into the present moment so that you can work with more clarity and intention. So let's go over a few techniques. The 5-5-5 breathing technique. It's inhale for 5, hold for 5 seconds, exhale for 5 seconds. Let's do it together. Inhale for 5, hold for 5, exhale for 5. Beautiful. Next is a 2-minute grounding meditation where you would close your eyes, take a deep breath, bringing awareness to your body, feeling your feet on the ground, your hands resting comfortably, maybe on your lap, on your desk, just taking a moment to simply be. And then the last one is mindful breaks, the 50-10 rule. So you will work with focused attention, let's say for 50 minutes, and then take a mindful 10-minute break, meaning you're going to stand up, you're going to stretch, you're going to step away from the screen, and your brain will thank you, I promise. And these small shifts can make a huge difference in how we show up in our daily life. Now, moving on. To creating rituals, daily rituals for balance and reduced overwhelm. So, the new routines or any routines, if you're trying to implement new ones or the routines that you already have in place, they don't have to be rigid. They can be flexible and nourishing. And the most important part about it is consistency. So, whatever you choose to do, just make sure it's something that you can keep up with and that you can be consistent. So, for example, like a simple morning mindfulness ritual could be waking up, getting your daily, hygiene things together, but then you just take a few deep breaths before checking your phone or a moment of gratitude for intention setting, like setting your intention for the day, taking a mindful sip of your coffee, tea, water, whatever it is, and just consciously being fully present. Another one is just an evening wind down practice, like journaling a few reflections from the day, like right before bed, or even just like if you have the the time and the space, depending on, your home life. I know for me, I can't do anything until all the kids are asleep, but writing down your reflections from the day, maybe doing a short meditation or some stretching, or if you're really like into some like rigorous exercises, doing, a few minutes or an hour, whatever you have time for, of like some exercise but intentionally. Also, like turning off your screens for 30 minutes before bed, just so like you can just relax your mind and, you know, starting that routine so that even your brain and your body start to get used to this routine. Like this is the time that I start to wind down. This is the time that, I get grounded and it'll be extremely beneficial. So I want you to, again, let's take this moment and let's try to design your own daily ritual. What is one small practice you can incorporate into your day starting tomorrow? Take some time, write it down, and if you feel inclined, go ahead and throw it in the chat. Okay, I see some in the chat. Okay. So stretching before bed, that's a quick win. That's an easy one. And if you don't know what to stretch or whatever, or there's always YouTube. There's also my website that'll have some different stretching, um, gentle stretching, gentle yoga. Um, okay, journaling. That's a good one, whether it's on paper or um on like an iPad type journal. I know if it contradicts the decreasing the screen time 30 minutes before bed. So if you want to do that, then don't use the iPad. Definitely use like a handwritten. And sometimes you have to be a bit more intentional when you're handwriting it on like, old school paper and pen. Um, so maybe even doing that. Okay. Taking a moment for a gratitude jar. You know what's funny? I created a gratitude jar for my family as well. So at first I had them, okay, every day write something down on a sticky of something that you were grateful for or something that made you happy during the day. And they would like write something down and throw it into a jar. And then come the new year, we were supposed to read it out. Now, in the beginning, having them do it every day just wasn't working. Like we tried that for like 3 months for them to write it every day, and the only one who was consistently writing every day was myself and my youngest daughter, where everyone else was just like, oh, I forgot, and then maybe it was once a week. So then we kind of decreased it to once a week. But one, I think that's a good exercise because it makes it makes you think about like really reflect on your day. There's so many times I will come home like, oh, I just had a terrible day. You know what I mean? And then when you sit down and just think about everything that happened, you start to realize, well, all of today wasn't that bad. Although this person made me mad or I had this extra work or whatever, traffic wasn't bad on the way to work today. Or the drop off for the kids was great. Or, I got a text message from, a friend that I haven't talked to in a long time. Or my barista wrote a nice note on my coffee today. Whatever it is, like you start to realize, like, today wasn't that bad. or today wasn't bad at all. It just was a difficult day, but it wasn't a bad day. And it just makes you be more intentional about one, putting that energy out there, like, oh, today was bad. But also just recognizing like there are small wins. There are, small there's goodness, you know what I mean? There's goodness in your day to day, in your life, in the people that you interact with. And sometimes we get so overwhelmed and clouded by the things that just aren't going our way that we just label everything as bad or, you know, um, just in a negative frame. So I think that's an excellent, excellent idea. And, you know, you can do it. You don't even have to wait to the new year. Maybe you could just do it every 3 months and kind of just like refresh the jar. And it's cool to like if you have children or other people that you live with, it's really cool to see what they value. I think that it helps in other ways too, not just in, building your, finding balance and flow just in your life or productivity, but also in your relationship building with your children, with the people that you live with your spouse, whatever you have going on, whoever's going to be contributing to your jar um, you start to realize the things that they value. Like my daughter once has said, I had a great on her little gratitude thing. She's like, I had a great day today. We had chicken patties at school. And as much as like, that's such a kid thing to write, but it's just like, it was good to know that like everything else that was going on around her at the time in the world and with her siblings or whatever that was going on, like it didn't affect her. She was happy that she got a chicken patty for lunch, you know? So I think that is an awesome idea. What else do we have here? Okay, mindful sip of tea. And you could switch it up. If you really want to do a little razzle dazzle, there's a lot of teas that I found on Xiaohongshu that like, everybody right now is doing the red dates and the real brown sugar blocks with what is it called? The longanberry, um, which is I think dragonberry, wolfberry, and which are really goji berries. Sorry. It has like three different names. And and apples. And I think it's red apples. Either way, go ahead, boil that up, make it look real pretty in your little glass. I got a glass tea kettle, and pour yourself up a glass of tea. I promise you. Oh, and ginger. I promise you, like you will feel nice and warm, and just being intentional about taking the time to cut up the fruit and throw it in there and watching it boil, pouring out. Like it's all like it's like a nice ritual, but um to enable, but also just the whole process of like getting that tea ready, then drinking it. You feel good about yourself because you're like, I made this, you know what I mean? And you didn't have to go get a tea bag. Where not nothing against tea bags, so I still use loose tea bags, whatever I need in the moment. But you know, that is a way to not only be intentional starting a ritual, but it's also taking care of your body, right? That's self-love. Um, putting starting your day with something healthy, like telling you that's another way of telling yourself, I love you. You know what I mean? Giving yourself something healthy before you go to Dunkin' Donuts and get that donut or whatever it is. No shade against the donut. I'm just saying, like, showing yourself self-love by putting something good and positive and nourishing in your body first thing in the day. That's also, I just got another idea that that's also how you should, operate in life, making sure that you're not allowing those negative things come into your body, into your energy, into your space, whether it's negative people, negative situations, scenarios. Um, that's self-love, self-care. Um, Not allowing the minutia or negative energy just impact you. So let's recap. As we wrap up, we'll recap what we covered for today. So, shifting from hustle to mindful flow, identifying what's truly essential. We did the Eisenhower matrix, reducing your distractions, whether, is changing your settings for your notifications for different apps, for different people. Some people even go as far as doing do not disturb. having the focus time if you have the iPhones. Um, then there's simple mindfulness practices for focus, where we talked about the 555 technique, and meditation, grounding techniques, and the 50-10 break cycle. And then also creating small but powerful daily rituals. So I encourage you to pick one strategy from today's session and just commit to applying it this week. Just one small shift can create a ripple effect in your life. And as a thank you for joining. I've created a mindful productivity journal that you'll be able to download. Also, the infographic that I had in there for the daily rituals. Also, I have an infographic for the Eisenhower matrix that I've created. So I have these three downloadable items that I will leave for you to download, for you to reference. Um, all of this stuff, it's filled with, especially the productivity journal, it's filled with prompts, checklists, reflection exercises, just to help you stay on track. And just know you're not alone in this journey. If you want to continue learning and growing, I invite you to join my Mindful Momentum subscription community, where we explore productivity, balance, and mindfulness together in this space. You'll get ongoing support. You'll have exclusive workshops similar to this, but it's just exclusive to our group, and practical tools to help you thrive. We'll have weekly co-working sessions, in addition to the workshops. Um, Everyone who joins gets a one-on-one live coaching session, just as like a little intro. If you decide to partake in any of the coaching services, you'll get an idea of what that looks like when it's one-to-one. But during the workshops, we'll also do like a group type coaching situation where you'll have opportunities to ask questions, to get advice, and also network. I will in the here we'll have some tools that you can use. So just like I'm giving you the productivity journal, there will be different resources that you'll have access to that'll help you remain productive. And yeah, so the Mindful Momentum subscription community is only $19.99 or $20 a month. If you're interested in joining that, you can go ahead and scan the QR code or just go to the website. If you go all the way to the bottom, I guess is the easiest way to join. Go all the way to the bottom of my website, click communities, and it should bring you right to the different community pages. There's 3 communities there. But you'll see the one that says Mindful Momentum. And that is it. Thank you for sharing this time with me. I can't wait to hear how these tools helped you create more balance, focus, and flow in your life. And I just want you to take a deep breath, exhale out, last time, and just go forward with ease. Thank you for joining me. And just remember, I am here, and you can remember I do regular workshops like this one. So just make sure you follow us online or subscribe onto my platforms. You can subscribe at www.themindandbodymovement.com, and you can either subscribe to the newsletter, or you can also follow me at the Mind and Body Movement on Instagram. Or again, join the subscription community where you'll get exclusive access to all the goodies that'll help you not only just be more productive, but also just um, in your grounding and mental health space. And, because the goal is always total body wellness, right? Feel free to email me at hello@themindandbodymovement.com. And thank you again for joining me. And I'm looking forward to the next one. Thank you.